Yeah, it's time for 3DViewStation news again, this time for WebViewer version 2019. As usual, introduction of our webpage. You can find the latest information in our blog about file formats we added, about functionalities we've added like import dialog, neutral access calculation, drill hole, split, TechBob functionality, performance optimizations, and so forth. So we, as usual, encourage you to visit us from time to time. Let's start with the authoring functions for technical documentation. So as you know, we can manually or automatically explode assemblies and put them in a position as you would like to see it. A result could look like this one. Now let's automatically create some BOM IDs. Let's automatically position the BOM IDs, the call-outs on the graphics model. And you see, even in illustration mode, you still can select the parts and they will be highlighted because it's still 3D. Now, of course, maybe you want to do that all manually. So let's do that manually. Yeah, you click on a part, you click on an object, and then we start with a certain BOM ID and we increment automatically. We can also select a couple of the parts which maybe have all the same ID. So we first select them and then generate the balloon for that, and we're done. Another important function for casting industry and companies like that is the splitting function. So we allow you now to determine a direction. You can split the geometry, even faces around that. You can select or add another splitting direction. And finally, you can also manually assign certain faces to a specific group of objects if you feel that the automatic detection did not work as expected. Okay, drill hole recognition. So this is a more complex part with a lot of PMIs and annotations. So maybe you are interested in to know, let's say, all these parameters of these drill holes, you know, all the different angles they have and the drilling depths and so forth. So some CAD data do contain these as features, but we are able to recalculate them from the geometry by our own. We have introduced wall thickness analysis with gradient colors quite a while ago. As this function is very fast in the meantime, we can now also offer it as a real-time measurement function. So here an example of the same housing we used in the other videos before. A new selection method is the selection by instances. So we have selection by color, we have selection by whatever, manual selections, whatever. But what we here do is we select one part and then automatically all corresponding parts of the same instances will be selected. If the instantiation has not been run properly, for instance, if the CAD data did not store them in the way like expected, we now can have 3DViewStation also in the WebViewer version recalculate and try to identify instances. So, you know, before we had a single part selected. Now, as we have turned on selection by instance, all instances will be selected at the same time. A new turning mode for the left mouse button is a turntable mode. It's sometimes being used in marketing applications. People have been asking for that. For especially the non-expert users, what we have introduced when loading native files, we've introduced a file import dialog, which gives you, you know, on a scale from 1 to 4, from very fast and incomplete to rather slow and most complete loading mode. Yeah, so if we load this axle of a forklift, then if we do it in a quick mode, it's pretty fast. It's 200 megabyte CATIA, but it's here in a second. If we do that in the full mode, where we load everything, you know, attributes, PMIs, whatever information, then loading process will take a little bit longer. And on the other side, we will receive additional information like attributes, as you can see here. So the expert, of course, would prefer to use a settings pane, you know, and set the settings manually. New file format supports, a quick rush here showing a new office building of ours to be built soon. Just loading a Revit file, as all the other CAD files or IFC files, whatever. We can, of course, section them, do measurements and whatever. So this is already a little bit complex. Here's another example with some text annotations inside. Works pretty well. I think a very nice option for the BIM interface, BIM space. So GLTF, also a new file format, and for laser scan data, the E57 point cloud support. That's it for now. Happy working. Enjoy working with 3DViewStation. Thank you.